Today's video, we're gonna get saucy. We're gonna use one sheet tray, one blender, 3 different kinds of peppers, some fresh tomatoes, garlic and shallots, some fresh herbs, and we're gonna make an air-fried eggplant to go with it. It's gonna be delicious. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chronicles of Chef. Today, we're gonna do a Romesco sauce. My brother and I were talking. He wants a new sauce for his repertoire. He's kind of getting bored of the sauces that he normally makes. We're talking, and I was like, you need to try Romesco sauce. He's like, I don't know what that is. I said, I'll make a video. We'll do this. So here it is, Romesco sauce. Hails from Spain. It's phenomenal. You got multiple kinds of peppers in it. You've got tomatoes. We threw a little bit of tarragon and rosemary into ours. A little red wine vinegar to brighten it all up. Best of all, it's really, really simple. You throw it on a sheet tray, you roast it, and then you blend it all up. It is so good. And then to taste all this deliciousness with, normally fish, chicken, crab cakes would be out of this world. All sorts of delicious things for it, over roasted vegetables, all things. But today we're gonna do a little twist on like an eggplant parmesan. We're gonna air fry. We're gonna ditch the parmesan and swap it out for some delicious Manchego cheese. This is gonna be phenomenal. Let's get cooking. All right, let's jump right into our Romesco sauce here. Normally you use a nora pepper. It's a small dried red chili pepper, more on the sweet, less heat, which is why most people just roast red pepper. This one's dying, so we can use that. But I don't have that, I couldn't find it, so I'm gonna use a couple different dried chilies. We're making a sauce. Make it to your liking. Have some fun with it. So I'm gonna try out these New Mexico dried chilies. I'm excited for those. And we got some chili de arbol for a little extra heat. And we're gonna toast all these with everything else. And then I'll take the seeds out. We're gonna let those kind of just cook together, if you will. We're gonna do a jalapeno because I like spicy. And like I said, my brother we were supposed to make this while he was visiting, and we didn't get to it, and he's a big guy on spicy, so we're gonna have heat going through this whole thing. It's gonna be delicious. And then we got 5 tomatoes. Also gonna do probably what would be the equivalent of probably about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of garlic. And then we are also going to throw in here a shallot, just for some good measure. We're going to cut it, get it peeled, and we're just gonna leave this whole. We're not gonna try to do anything. You can do this straight over a fire if you have a gas burner. You can just right over that and char everything up, roast them that way. You can hit them with a blowtorch if you want. I tend to not like doing the blowtorch too much because it can kind of give you there's like a blowtorchy taste, in my opinion, especially like when people do it on like Wagyu beef. Not a big fan. We are going to do some rosemary, not a whole lot. We'll kind of do more fresh rosemary into it also. And then we're also going to do a little bit of tarragon in there. And again, we'll add more of the fresh herbs to it later when we're blending it all up and everything. And almonds, I'm going to add probably the last like 10 minutes just so we can toast the almonds also. We're going to hit this with some olive oil, or this is avocado oil, and some salt and pepper. I'm just gonna give this a nice little toss around. Ooh, there's our oven preheated, ready to go. We got it set to 450 right now. And we're gonna roast these probably for about 45 minutes to an hour. Let's go. All right, now while that is working and roasting everything like that, we're gonna prep out the eggplant. We're gonna do some of the tarragon in here. And then again, it's gonna end up being about a tablespoon or so of garlic. And we're just gonna mince all this up. All right, table's a little wobbly. We got it up on stilts, trying something new, but this is also slipping around. So I'm gonna try a trick. In culinary school and in restaurants and stuff like that, they have a thinner kind of paper-esque paper towel that you'd get wet, and then you put your cutting board on that, and that's what would help keep your cutting board from slipping and sliding. I found these like Swedish towels, hand towels at Costco the other day, and it reminded me of that texture of those like reusable but slightly more disposable. Oh my goodness, look at that. My cutting board's not moving around. Oh, But it reminded me of that texture of these like blue towels that you get, and it's like in between like a real towel and a paper towel. I actually just like love them. I wish that I would have them in my house all the time. You get multiple uses out of them. They soak stuff up. It's so great. But they also are perfect for keeping your cutting board still. Woohoo! It smells so good. The rosemary in there, that tarragon. Oh man! All right, I think we're gonna deem that good. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw it into one of our bowls that we're gonna use when we're doing our batter and our breading. We'll throw that like that. Next, we're gonna work with the eggplant. We're going to peel this guy. I don't like the skin when you do like an eggplant parmesan, any of those things. I'm not a fan of it. So I think it just is a really chewy part. Yes, you can cook it down and get rid of a lot of that toughness, but I don't want to cook it that long. I don't want to deal with it. I would rather spend my time right now peeling this guy, even though it wants to be difficult. Oh, smell-o-vision needs to happen because the peppers, the roasted, the toasted, dried peppers. Oh, so good. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and make our lives simple, and we're going to do just your regular rounds. We're looking for them to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. We want them to hold up. We want them to stay meaty. Don't want them, too big that we can't get through them. Beautiful. There's our eggplant. Now, a step that a lot of people forget is we want to salt our eggplant before, give it some time to leach out, helps kind of soften up, do all sorts of delicious things. But we got it on a rack so that way any excess liquid can fall out. That way it doesn't get anything too wet or anything like that while we're air frying it. So it's gonna hit heavy with salt, and then we'll kind of rinse the salt off. But we'll let it hang out. We want to salt both sides. And you really need to do this for about 10-15 minutes. And that's the beauty, is like all this stuff can be happening while we're toasting and roasting and doing all those other things. There's that. We're gonna let that off to the side. So we got our fresh chopped up garlic and tarragon and rosemary. We're gonna add a little bit of King's Peak seasoning. Has that more of that smoky, has paprika in there. So to me, this really fits that like kind of Spanish vibe, which Romesco sauce is Spanish. In my mind, it was always a tomato, like because it's more tomato and pepper based. And for whatever reason, in my brain, it was Italian. So I was always thinking pasta, which is why I thought it would be a fun little play on eggplant parmesan, but with Romesco sauce. Yes, please. Roasted vegetables, all sorts of fish. Oh, I thought about doing fish too. But we're gonna add our panko breadcrumbs. These are pre-seasoned, so we're just umping up the flavor by doing the fresh garlic and rosemary in there. So no big deal, as well as the delicious King's Peak. Ooh, oh yes. All right. In this bowl, I opted not to do flour. I'm gonna go with cornstarch. A little lighter. I want this to be a light, airy kind of fry, and especially since we're doing like the air fryer, a lot of times you need flour to cook for a good amount of time before it is before you get that raw flour taste. That's why, like, when you make a roux, when you make a roux, you need to cook that sauce or whatever down, soup, whatever you're using that roux in, for a good 20 or so minutes at a nice like high rolling simmer boil situation, so that the flour, that raw flour flavor is cooked out. We are going to also season this with some King's Peak here and some salt, and this we're going to mix up with a fork. So just like a breading, like if you were doing flour, you'd want to season that. We also want to season our cornstarch. So that's going to be our base layer, right, of flavor on our eggplant. Like that. And then in this guy, we're just going to do some egg whites. And we're going to use the pre-done already. And I'm going to throw a little and whisk that all up together and be good to go. Milk in here too. Again, we season every step of the way. All right, so we're going to hit it with salt and pepper. We're not going to do the other seasonings. We just want to make sure that we're adding layers of salt and flavor and everything to this dish throughout every process. Okay, so this is about 10 minutes into 15 or so minutes into our cooking. I'm gonna pull out our dried chilies. They are nice and toasty. We're gonna let them cool off a little bit before we take those seeds out. And I'm taking the seeds out not because I'm afraid of the heat, but because I want a nice texture on our romesco. But we're gonna flip that pepper over. This jalapeno's looking good, our shallots looking good. Tomatoes are starting to split, which is great. We'll take the skins off of those. We're gonna throw this back in the oven and get it going. Oh, it smells so good. So we're gonna go ahead and, oh yeah, cool down enough. We're just gonna kind of drop these guys. Look at all the seeds just falling right out, and that's what we're looking for. Because again, I just want a better texture. The seeds are going to be harder to blend up. Throw these guys right over there. The thing I love about a romesco sauce is the depth of flavor, but with the simplicity of it. I love that we're using nuts, so we're going to use those almonds to help kind of be a thickening agent in there. But it's also going to give you a unique kind of texture in it, obviously. Oh, hidden one. But also, it's going to thicken it up, and it's going to give you an amazing, like, nutty little flavor. And then on top of everything, toasted in here, dried chilies, the toasted everything, like, oh. That is, this one might have been toasted too much. Yeah, I'm not going to use this one. I think we're that one. I don't like the smell. It's very different than these that I just pulled out of the bag. And I think that we're going to go with these. We are going to throw them back in the oven real quick just to kind of warm them up. The reason why we want to toast and or heat up your dried chilies before using them is it's going to help kind of reopen them. It's like when you rehydrate raisins and or prunes or anything like that. I think reheating is going to kind of reopen, rehydrate, kind of get those oils kind of working and going and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and get those in real quick, and then we'll de-seed them. Okay, woo, go toasty. But yeah, these are nice and malleable now. So not crisp and burnt like these guys. But that's what we're looking for. See now it's like a nice leather that you can work with. That's what we're looking for right there. I'm gonna throw those guys in there. Yeah, see how this is just like crunch, crunch, crunch? Burn those. Don't want that. Don't want that. Not the chili Arbol. How do you say that? See, that's leathery. But these are those parts that are nice and leathery, and that's the parts that we want. Alright, so we're starting to see this kind of get a little slimy. All that moisture starting to come out. Looking good there. That's what we want. So we're gonna let this go for another about 5 or so minutes. Alright. So we end up going at 450. This was about 25 minutes or so, which is perfect. Take our garlic and our shallot, throw it right in there, herbs. Okay, now for the fun. We want to do our best to peel these guys. We want as much of those juices as we possibly can. Whoop. Look how this skin just peels right off. Now, you can cut the tomatoes, cut into them, these little hashes on them, stars. Just kind of cut into them a little bit, and that'll help get the skins off. With these guys, they just split perfectly well roasted. Normally, you would want to steam these, so just cover them, let them cool down. The skin's going to come off slowly. You don't have to burn your fingers, but the skin is coming off quite nicely here. All right. Again, taking the seeds out. Not because I'm afraid, but because of the texture of the sauce that I'm looking for. Now for our red pepper. It's coming off beautifully. I'm going to do my best not to puncture this because the inside of this is filled with delicious juice. We don't want that to go to waste. Ooh. It's a hot. We're going to throw our almonds back on here. About a quarter cup, and we're toasting these real fast. While those are toasting, we're going to start our blending fun. Whoop. There we go. And Oh my goodness. The smell alone. And that color? Oh, it's beautiful. Let's give this a try first before we do anything else. Just to see where we're at. Oh man. It has a good kick to it. There's all sorts of chili notes in there. They're rich and they're nutty because they've been toasted. And then you get that bright, sweet acidity from the tomato. Oh, man. Throw in a bunch of herbs here because I feel like it just needs to get brightened up a little bit. So we're gonna throw in all this rosemary and tarragon. And then it needs a little bit more of a tang. So we're gonna throw in a little bit of red wine vinegar just to kind of make a little bit more of a zing, brighten everything up a little bit. We're gonna give this a quick blend and then we will grab our almonds and blend those guys up into it, and that will help kind of thicken everything up. Oh. The texture of this is lovely and beautiful. Doesn't need a whole lot, but oh, that smell is intoxicating. All day. So good. The red wine vinegar, brighten everything up. Those herbs made nice and lively, and then you just have chili notes. That sweet and acidic tomato coming through. You get a little bit of punch of garlic. Oh man. Adding some extra nuttiness to this with those almonds is gonna be out of this world. So we've toasted up our almonds a wee bit. We weren't looking for anything crazy. We just wanted to warm these guys up. Again, help loosen up the oils, intensify that nutty flavor that they already are going to give and have. Oh. Let's check this guy out. Oh, look at that, how that consistency has changed already. It's a little thicker. It's not crazy thick or anything like that. But, oh. This is so good. The almond flavor now in there, it's nutty, it's refreshing. It gives a little bit more like a meaty sense to it. Oh, man. Oh, that's good. I could just snack on that all day. Give me a straw, I'm gonna drink it. We're gonna let these guys drain a little bit more before we give them a little rinse. And then we're gonna bread them real quick and throw them in the fridge to let everything kind of set on that breading. It's gonna help give us a better fry. Things are gonna be loose and falling off. I'm gonna blot these dry a little bit before we get into our breading. Okay, for our breading, we're gonna go cornstarch, egg, and then to our breading. We have a dry hand and we have a wet hand. Whichever you want to use, whatever one you want to use, you use, but that's just how they stay forever and always. These are a little wet, so this is gonna be my wet hand, this is gonna be my dry hand. Take wet hand into there. Okay, dry hand now. Dust off any excess into wet. Wet hand, we grab it, give it a little flip. Okay, wet hand picks it up and out. Into dry ingredients. Dry hand. Kind of get everything out. Give yourself something to grab to. These are little eggplants. All right, double time. All right, now that we got our eggplant breaded, Romesco sauce is all done. We're gonna let this kind of chill out in the fridge for about a half hour, just kind of let everything settle so they air fry nicely. We're going to transfer some of this into a squeeze bottle, all sorts of fun things, and let's get eating soon. Let's go. All right, let's finish up this eggplant. We're going to transfer trays because this guy is meant for my air fryer. A little toaster oven air fryer situation. So we're just gonna lay these guys out, and we are gonna hit these with a little extra virgin oil, canola oil. This one's extra virgin. If you have avocado oil, which is what I normally feel like I normally have, it's all fine. These have been sitting in the fridge for about a half hour. Just kind of let them set. You can put them in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes. Just kind of help things. We're just gonna do a quick. We're not looking for a whole lot. We just need a little oil on there, because that's what we want, that oil to get hot in the air fryer, and then that's what's gonna fry it. So if you don't have any oil, you're just gonna kind of dry it out versus like a crisp. So all these guys flipped. We used to do this when I worked in the industry. We would spray all sorts of things before we threw it in the oven to give it a bit more of a crisp kind of look. Instead of doing drizzles of olive oil like on salmon and stuff like that, over the top, throw in the oven. Oh, winner. All right, 400 degrees. So we're gonna do a little bit lower of a air frying temperature because I want to make sure that we get the actual eggplant cooked as well. Let's go. While our eggplant is cooking up, let's talk about just the sauce. Consistency wise, great. Texture, perfect. I like how it sticks to the back of the spoon, but not too heavy. Smells phenomenal. Oh man, that is so good. Now, this is a really spicy romesco because I used the jalapeno and then multiple different dried chilies. I think if we can scale back some of that heat if you're nervous about it, but I wouldn't scale back on necessarily the variety of dried chilies. I think it's phenomenal. So good. Now, some things I think round two, when I get to it, I think a little bit of Worcestershire W sauce, who's your sister sauce, whatever you want to call it. I think a little bit of that will just add a little bit of umami to the back end notes. I don't think that it's necessarily missing, but I think it can elevate it a little bit. Okay, it's about 15 minutes in the air fryer, and it's looking good, smelling good. Oh yeah. A nice crunch. Here, we'll get the knife, we'll do the whole. Oh yeah. So let's plate up some of these. I'm gonna throw some Romesco down here. Give ourselves a nice little situation like that. I'm just gonna do one single little eggplant situation. And we're just gonna drop some more on top, right? Just like this. Brush it on. And then, for the final touches. The thing for me that's going to take this over top is some freshly grated Manchego. Bam! That looks phenomenal. That needs to be good. Let's try one of these guys real quick. Shut the front door. This is good. Winning left and right here, team. Win left and right. All right, let's dig in on this eggplant Parmesan, not Parmesan, this eggplant Manchego Romesco deliciousness. I'm stoked. Oh man, that is delicious. Oh, that is so good. I love the heat on it. I love the garlic and the tarragon and the rosemary that we added to the panko. Great touches. Great texture. The crunch is great. The eggplant isn't mushy. It's nice and meaty. It's delicious. It's holding up really well. The Romesco sauce is phenomenal by itself. On this, it's really good. I see all sorts of opportunities for it. Both serving it hot and cold. I think on sandwiches, delicious. I think using it as a marinade or as a sauce to cook things in, whether you want to braise it, just rub it down and grill it, then throw more of it on top, over the top of roasted vegetables. I mean, the thing I'm really liking about this Romesco is it's kind of this teetering balance between almost like you're entering into the world of like enchilada sauces and things like that. Texture's a little different and whatnot, but like you're starting to get those flavor profiles. But then it still has this like sweet tomato sauce vibe to it. Pizzas, oh, flatbreads. Man, we could just go on and on. This is delicious. Love it. All right. Thank you so much for watching. This was delicious. Romesco sauce is going to be in my rotation. I hope that it makes it into your standard rotation of sauces that you're using throughout. Chicken, fish, steaks even. I don't see why not. Marinade, throw it on top afterwards. Hot, cold sandwiches. Options are endless. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments what other sauces you guys are looking to learn how to make and just simplify. Let me know and we'll get to it. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all those fun things. We'll see you next time. Can't wait for this. Oh, yes. So good. So good.